In the words of the Father, ask of me, and I will give you the heathen for your inheritance. I will bring you the treasures that are hidden in the most remote areas of the ground and pull from the deepest recesses of the earth. The Father says, I have the keys, and that which I have given to you will bring about the unlocking of the barred gates and the destruction of the walls that the adversary has constructed in order to prevent you from receiving the entitlement that you have in me. As far as the Father is concerned, there is no obstacle. There is no negative impact. There is in no way a barrier. To see things from my point of view, you must come up here to me. You are not of the earth, nor are you restricted to resources that are found on earth, despite the fact that the adversary wants you to embrace the viewpoint of the ground level. I will make, in a very short amount of time, manifest in your life what man is unable to do or accomplish, and it will be a wonderful achievement. Please come to terms with the fact that your citizenship is in heaven and accept it today. Because you are a part of me and I am a part of you, you should be aware that there is nothing that I will not do and nothing that is impossible for you to accomplish. You should no longer restrict your prayers to the things that are within your reach. Instead, I want you to pray for things that are beyond your reach and impossible to achieve. Your Father says that anything is possible. All you need to do is believe, and whatever you believe, it will be done to you in accordance with your faith. In today's message, the Father informs us that I will not take my throne in your heart by force. Invite me, if you please. It is necessary for you to elevate me to the position of king in the dry areas of your life so that I might deliver the refreshing that you have lamented. The empty and dry space that you have within you will eventually transform into a well, yes, a spring of live water. If you are willing to respond to my lordship, I will bring life to you and to everyone else in the vicinity of you. I am that river and those streams that bring joy to the heart and have the power to radically alter and reorganize your life so that it is oriented toward good rather than evil. It is time to stop hunting for the external resource. You can only find my kingdom within yourself. Your now will be altered, and the timeline of your life will be secured into an unending eternity, because I am the well of live water that is giving birth to life that will last forever. I am a son of the Most High God. You should declare about your soul. Declare the decree that the Father has made. Because I have given you the ability to become a son of God, declare that you are a son of God. Let this declaration be on your lips. You are not only a servant. In the event that I had longed for a servant, I would have left you in the territory of the old covenant. Not only do I refer to you as a servant, but I also refer to you as a son who is entitled to everything and a daughter who is cherished by me. I take great pleasure in you, says the Father. At this very moment, it is entirely impossible for me to love you more than I already do. Put an end to your efforts to win that affection. It is not under any circumstances that I could love you less. Simply put, I love you. And in that love, every need, every deficit, and every demand is satisfied, and the abundance of blessings falls to you like a refreshing rain to fill all the voids in your life. In today's message, the Father says, I am bringing you out of the dry and parched places and into the green pastures of my sheepfold. You no longer have to spend your days alone. These wanderings across the woods have come to an end. Yes, says the Father, in the dry and barren places, a work of my hand has been produced in your life, and those people from whom you have been estranged for a long time will no longer recognize you as the person you were in the years gone by. I am the one who makes everything fresh, and today is a new day, and you are a new you. You should give yourself the freedom to become the person that I am currently causing you to be, and you should avoid falling back into the old connections and attitudes that do not match the person that I have now constructed and fashioned you to be. The Father says, you are my workmanship, you are my handiwork. You are my creation. Put the past behind you. Put the past's failures behind you and move on with your life. Not only is it not who you are, but it is also not where I intend to take you. A fresh day has begun. Your history is not a commentary on your present, and your present is not the narrative that I am writing into your life in this new chapter that is coming out even today. I am currently writing this chapter into your life. Where do you stand? Next, forgive, let go, bless, and go on with your life. As you make your way through the wilderness, shake yourself off the sands of the trek, and be ready and even prompt when you step into the social settings and possibilities that I am leading you to. When you are uncertain and questioning, you will hear my voice saying, "Fear not, for it is I," in every difficult circumstance. This is because I am with you and I will never abandon you. The time for your blessing has here. The Father has revealed to us today that the adversary's assumption that you are defeated is a complete and utter vanity. Because of the impenetrable favor that I have surrounded you with, the adversary of your soul has attempted to encourage himself by making plans for your demise. However, his rages have been wasted on the favor that I have bestowed upon you. Whatever advice you receive from people who believe they have control over what happens to you in the future will be completely fruitless. I have complete authority over your destiny, declares the Father. Put your faith in me if you want to know what comes next. Presently, the enemy's bands are being torn from one another. Oh, my beloved, the ties of limitation and obstruction that have been holding you back from achieving your ambitions and dreams are being severed from your life today. From the perspective of the Father, the opposition of the Dark One is not truly a challenge to me. The lies that the adversary tells do not cause me to frown, rather, they inspire me to smile because of the derision that his ineffective attacks provoke because of my powerful right hand that is always protecting you and holding you firmly in place throughout the day. To put it another way, the Father declares, I will vex those who vex you. I will remove from your life those individuals who have the audacity to even tamper with the purposes that I have for your life. You will see the salvation of my hand made manifest, and the circumstance that you have brought before me will change. For I never fail, you will not fail either, for you are in me and I am in you. Therefore, rejoice, rest, and trust in my plans for your life. Stand still and see the chaff of the wicked, which I blow away in the wind of my spirit, says the Father. I call attention to this. Yes, even the wind of my spirit that fills your sails and leads you into the harbor of my goodness will remove from a great distance those individuals who have dealt with you in a devious manner and lied against you. During the judgment, they will not be able to stand, says the Father, for the judgment that they have used to judge you in an unfair manner will be visited onto their own head. Be steadfast in the community of the upright, says the Father, because I have the right to do so, and favor and blessing are being bestowed upon you at this very now. The provisioning that you have been waiting for a very long time is now being placed at your feet. You should not be afraid, you should just believe because I am aware of the path that you choose. I will always protect and defend you. I am rooting you down into the deep aquifers of my spirit, says the Father speaking to my children. I will cleanse you today from the filth of the wicked who have foamed out their humiliation in your life with the refreshing waters of my spirit. I will cleanse you from the contamination of the wicked. A new season has begun, and the Father declares that today is the new day. Now is the time for you to make the transition to blessing and fruitfulness. It is being reversed and turned back, and the enemy's invasion upon you is being turned back also. However, I assure you that your land is being healed, and that your wells will once again flow with the fresh streams of my live water. The adversary has salted your land and blocked your wells, but I say to you that your land is being repaired. What the Father has to say about you is that you are meant for more than merely a testimonial of what I have done for other people. You have been faithful to proclaim and delight over the things that I have done in the lives of other people, but now, in this season, you will have your own testimony, and you will not repeat what I have done for other people because you will always have the substance of my faithfulness in your life in both of your hands. You should not be afraid to extend your hand. Others have stated that it is of no use and have hung their harps on the willows. Therefore, you should make a decision today to act upon my firm promise that I will bless you on both the right hand and the left hand, and according to my covenant, all that you set your hand to will be blessed. This day, the Father has revealed to you that I am the one who directs your actions. During this time of distraction from the adversary, you should not respond to the advice of those who are not enlightened and whose thoughts do not come from my heart. The Father has stated, "We shall stand, and we shall not be moved," but know that I have a ways and means committee to bring about my counsels even in the lives of those who sit in the seat of the scornful and refuse to honor my name. This is something that you should know. Rather than allowing yourself to be sidetracked by the smoke and mirrors that the adversary has to offer, the Father encourages you to take pleasure in me. My meditation during the nighttime seasons should serve as a source of comfort for you and a pillow upon which you can lay your head. You will be protected by my promises, says the Father, and in my rest you will witness the ruin of those who are evil and the establishment of every good thing that I have promised you by my hand. Dearly beloved, the Father instructs you to remain in the vine today. I would like for you to know that I am the God who has never planted anything in a row, just as the vine does not grow in a linear fashion. I would like for you to know this during this season. You will not be able to use a slide rule or a tape measure to determine what I will do next in your life. This is not something that you will be able to see. In a moment, I will enter your vessel during a period of difficulty, and immediately after that, the waves of your existence will be calm. When the next moment arrives, I shall approach you when I am walking on the rivers of difficulty. Your invitation from my hand is to leap over the rail in bold acts of trust in order to witness miracles taking place. At this same moment, you have the opportunity to get a testimony of water walking. You are not someone who is destined to spend the rest of your life sitting in the pews and taking up space in the pulpit. You will be brought in, and I will be the one to guide you out. I will place you with a family for a period of time, during which you will gain knowledge and experience blessings. However, after that, I will relocate you to different pastures and locations for the sake of my name. There are going to be occasions when I will put you in the middle of a group of people so that you can learn, gain, and then be taught. At other times, I will take you to a group of individuals who believe they have a lot to teach you, but you are not there to study. Rather, you are there to serve and to bring forth a display of my love and my patience. I say to you, in your patience possess ye your soul. There are many things that happen in life that are irritating and unpleasant, but I say to you that in the middle of the jangling, clamor, and annoyance, you should learn to quiet yourself. Within the pauses that occur between your own thoughts, you will be able to hear my voice. Avoid being a solitary person. You should not isolate yourself, since now is the moment for you to come out of your shell. Your life will be poured out to others, and as you do so, you will learn that there is a ministry portion anointing on your life before my people. The truths and deeps that you might assume are found in some mystical encounter with me will be uncovered as you do this. Today, the Father tells you that your inward focus is about to be strengthened in a very real and very personal way. This is something that is going to happen. Says the Father, the kingdom is coming, and it is coming in you. The kingdom is coming. In Luke 17 verse 20 and 21, I cautioned those individuals that they should not look outwardly for what I am doing and saying, but rather they should look internally. You will not be one of those individuals. According to the Father, it is not your beliefs but rather your deeds that pave the way for my kingship to be established in your life to begin. Even though the kingdom does not arrive with observation, you will begin to experience flashes of my presence and favor in every area of your need as you engage in acts of trust, love, and obedience. This is because the kingdom does not come with observation. Even with natural resources, you will discover that money moves by my Spirit, and as you manage these resources in accordance with the directives of my guiding, you will experience growth and expansion. Even with seemingly insignificant concerns, I am guiding you toward a significant breakthrough, not only for yourself but also for others. I will speak to you to do small things, even if it is a kind word or a shared meal, because there is a gift of hospitality on you that goes far beyond offering a cup of coffee or a warm embrace. You will be known as a believer who commits small acts of kindness in the timing of my Spirit. This will touch many lives more than you know, so do not despise the small things that I will speak to you to do. The Father adds that the enlargement of my Son is something that comes from my hand, and that I am so inclined to enlarge myself in you at this season. As of today, the Father has informed you that you are an inheritor. You will receive certain things from my hand through inheritance, and inheritance alone will bring them to you. It is not possible for you to work for them, earn them, or be of sufficient quality to be eligible to receive the inheritance that I freely give to you. Oh, my darling, the legacy that you have been given was sealed and protected by my autonomy in the death of the cross. I am the live advocate who is carrying out the will of the kingdom in your life, and your entitlement was recognized in the courtroom of heaven. You will not be denied anything because I am the one who is the living advocate. Instead of claiming that you are empty, you are not empty. You have reached your limit. You are stuffed to the brim with the richness that penetrates your entire being. Your portion has been prepared for you in heaven, and it is currently being made apparent on earth. You are full with the measure that I measure with, and your portion is being made manifest. The Father declares that there will be no more deficiency. There will be no further delay. The denial must end. The treasuries of heaven are open to you, so instead of thinking like a beggar, think like a son when you approach the situation. It is important that you acquire the mindset of adoption because I have given you the ability to become that son in whom I am very happy. It is possible that there are individuals who would disqualify you, and it is also possible that you have disqualified yourself in your own thoughts at times. Nonetheless, those who are dear to you should know that I have qualified you. I have what I have planned for you in store. I have prepared a dwelling place for you in the heavens as well as in the earth, and my bounty is available and is being poured out right now. The Father affirms that everything that has been concealed and everything that has been carried out in the shadows will be brought into the light. Know this, I am the God who dwells in thick darkness, and I will bring to light everything that is done in darkness. When man hides and obscures his activities in darkness, know this fact, I am the God who dwells in darkness. During this period of judgment, there will be a moment of exposure and exposing. Your answer should be to go to the throne and trust in me to grant mercy. Do not be afraid, says the Father, because I will pour the oil and the wine of my Spirit into the wounds that I expose. This will allow those who are broken and out of the way to be repaired and restored. In doing so, they take on the role of Satan himself, and I will not tolerate any accuser to stand before my presence. Therefore, you should not join forces with those who mock, rant, and accuse. A person who lives their life with humility and self-disclosure should be someone who is determined to be that person. Your detractors will never be able to live up to the standards that they have set for you, and you will never be able to live up to the judgments that they so blithely dump upon you. If you were to run with them to their own degree of excess, they would cover you and take pleasure in being in your presence. You have to make the decision to separate yourself from man. Because I was aware of what was contained within man, and I continue to be aware of it, I did not marry man. In addition to your eyes, I will make it possible for you to see through something. It is not appropriate to feel astonished, dismayed, or disillusioned. Don't stop loving it. It is your determination to ensure that nothing that comes to light will force you to stop walking in love in front of people who are around you. I am purging and cleansing, renewing and strengthening, so that my plans may be established in full measure in your life. Love the brethren and preserve your trust in me, since I am doing all of these things. The Father has revealed to you today that I am establishing my paternity in your life. When it comes to bringing my image into your life, I am steadfast in my commitment to take action. I will wipe off the imprint and invasion that the adversary has attempted to make against you. In the same way that death was ruled by one, I will rule by the existence of life and the power of the cross, which will be utilized for your advantage. The blessing and entitlement that you have are not contingent on your performance. The manifestation of your grace and favor does not originate from a strained act of religious implementation. I want you to know that mercy triumphs over judgment on this day, not just in your life but also in the lives of others who are close to you. You are entitled to something, and it is your privilege to receive it. The blood that was poured at Calvary is definitive evidence of your claim, and even at this very moment, I am expanding the territory in which you reside. To the extent that the cross offers you the opportunity to be my son and my daughter, I am expanding you and pushing back the confines of darkness until all of your borders reflect in fullness what the cross affords you. Therefore, take a deep breath of my assistance on this day, says the Father. I want you to go within yourself and realize that you are a son who is enabled, a child who is favored by a father who is caring. Until love reaches its complete manifestation in blessing and favor touching every issue that you can list, I have loved you and I will continue to love you until they achieve their full expression. I would like to challenge you, says the Father. I would like for you to discover the depth of my love for you. I challenge you to use up all of the love that I have for you that I have for you. The sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross and the power of the resurrection are the expressions of my heart that demonstrate the extent to which I have gone to bless and empower you. On this day, make it your resolution to reject the religious attitude of those individuals who will not enter into what I have done for them and will not permit you to enter in. Reject those illegitimate authorities who would disqualify you and say of your soul, I am the entitled, for the blood of Jesus has entitled me to all that heaven affords. This is your part. Reject those authorities that would disqualify themselves. I want you to know that this is what my paternity in your life looks and feels like: absolute favor, complete blessing, full portion this day, and you do not need to wait any longer. On this day, the Father instructs us to share of my consistency. Because I love you with a love that does not change, I invite you to partake of my consistency today. My Father says that I am neither irritable or irritable at all. It is not necessary for you to move in a discreet manner near me because it brings me great joy to watch you approaching me with love and curiosity. You are free to inquire. In order to avoid offending me, you should ask those questions that you would never even consider asking. When you were at your lowest point, I loved you, and I am aware of every thought that goes through your head. You are free to inquire. Proceed with your search. As soon as your knuckles make contact with my door, I will draw you in and ensure that you are seated at my table. Go ahead and knock. This is the table that I have set up for you, and it is my table. The table is a place of tranquility, and it is brimming with all these wonderful things. At my table, there is no bitter gall, there is nothing to drink. There are no remnants of dissatisfaction to be found here. It is not necessary for you to grovel like a puppy since you are not a dog, rather, you are a cherished part of the family. Therefore, the Father says, ask. Be sure to ask, and allow your joy to be filled to the brim, because the answer is in the asking, and the response is in the replying, which is your unwavering deliverance by my hand. In today's message, the Father says, I will make up for the deficiencies in your life. Trust me for the completion of this task. Despite the fact that there has been loss and even destruction, I will restore 100% of everything that is missing. According to the Father, I am the one who holds the keys to death, hell, and the grave. There is not a single one of your days that will be cut short by the adversary, as they are all numbered in my book. Each and every breath that you take through your body is an expression of my unwavering will. So take a deep breath of my faithfulness, and take a deep breath of my goodness, and know that everything is going to be okay. Everything is fine, the Father says. The words should be in your mouth at all times. Everything is fine. When the adversary is furious and it appears that everything is lost, you must resist the temptation to give in to that point of view. Nothing is wrong. I am with you. My paths are all peaceful, and I am the one who restores them so that people might dwell in them. Having placed your trust in me will not cause you to feel humiliated. Give me permission to be me in your life. Through my faithfulness, I will tend to you, and through my kindness, I will restore you, and my healing will come to you. In this day and age, the Father urges us not to reject my process. In response to your request for an outcome, I will tell you that the procedure ultimately results in the outcome. This is what I mean when I say, if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. Yes, even in the midst of your adversaries, I have a table set up for you to eat from. Come to my table, says the Father, come to my table by yielding to my anointed process, which is the means by which I empty you or yourself and fill you with my I am-ness. This is what the Father says, I am that I am, and I am in you. You serve as my dwelling place. My throne is inside of you. In you is the kingdom of mine. For the purpose of putting you over in life and shaping you into my image, my exousia and dunamis power are present within you as a generative force. The yapping of dogs who are without food should not be listened to. My voice is calling out to you, and you should react to the guiding touch of my hand. Despite the fact that there are moments when you are unable to see things clearly, I am steadfastly guiding you to the tranquil waters and verdant pastures of my rest, my dear. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I have removed your shame and given you beauty for ashes. Today, I have made myself more beautiful by being in you. The Father says, I do not make accusations. As far as I am concerned, you are holy and blameless before me in love, and this has been the case ever since the beginning of the world. Reject the thinking that is polluted with fear and shame that is associated with performance-based religion. The way is unmistakable. The way has been made clean. Proceed with courage by the blood that was shed on the cross at Calvary. You are going to be put today, and I will make sure that your placement is safe. You shall not be denied your rights or discriminated against in any way. I refer to you as your beloved. You are the one for whom the entirety of heaven went bankrupt in order to fulfill your requirements. What could possibly make you believe that I am withholding something from you? When I offered the Son, I provided everything that heaven could possibly afford. Beloved in Christ, I have provided all that you could ever require, but you continue to question and demand that I explain why I haven't answered your queries. The task has been completed. You will be able to see the labor of your soul and be content if you enter this day with trust and by praying expectantly into the job that has been completed. Today, the Father instructs you to raise your arms to me in the same way that a tree pulls its branches upward. During this day, I am the day star that is rising in your heart. I invite you to take in the warmth of my heart and the brightness that comes from my word. But you are not dependent on the world because you are rooted in me. The world can be a cold and arid experience, but you are not dependent on you. If you put the foundations of your expectations in me today, you will discover the deep wells of my spirit that are filled with water that is both refreshing and pure. I am going to revitalize you, and I am going to illuminate your face. When other people look at you, they will wonder what it is that you possess that others do not have. On this day, the Father says, take a deep drink of the sustenance that my spirit has to provide. At this very moment, you will become a branch that bears fruit. In the span of a single season, I will provide you with seeds, fruits, and harvests, and the miracle that you seek will be brought about by chance. According to the Father, this is the time for you to perform a miracle. Try not to dwell on things that have existed in the past. There is no need to give up hope and ponder when the breakthrough will occur. Disregard the resentment and ashes that come from a lack of belief and disillusionment. Always remember to place your trust in me. Keep your focus on me because you are where your attention leads you, and in my care, you will never be embarrassed. Keep your attention on me. I am bringing you to a place of rest in a setting that is fraught with danger, the Father says to you today through His words. You should not be afraid to take risks. The natural state of a believer who is filled with faith is one of risk. If you want to be like the Apostle Peter, who avoided the curious eyes of everyone around him and instead vaulted over the railing into a water-walking witness, you should do the same thing. Your role as a water walker has been called upon you. Do not be afraid of the winds or the seas because I am the wind, and I am the one who is creating the waves. I tell you that this is your journey, says the Father. I have called you to the endeavors of faith, not the escapades of failure and the aspirations that have been destroyed. This day, you should aim for greater heights. Have more courage than you have ever had before. Put an end to the stifling influence that the adversary has. Go forth into the world and burn for me, because I am a fire that consumes everything. What you say should be heard. Take advantage of your hands. Allow your feet to lead you toward the core of the difficulty you are facing. I want you to know that I am, in fact, the fourth man in your fire, waiting for you there. Neither you nor anybody else will suffer any harm, and at the end of the day, your testimony will remain unaltered. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, the power to tie and loose is in the words that you speak with faith. In heaven, anything you bind on earth will be bound there as well. In heaven, you will be able to regain what you have lost on earth. One must begin by forgiving, releasing, and blessing all those individuals who have let you down, led you to feel disillusioned and sad, and who have caused you to feel disappointed. Disillusionment is a cord that the adversary ties around your life as the tentacles of Leviathan has wrapped around your body. From this very moment on, it is up to you to break free from the shackles of the python spirit and shake yourself. Obtain a fresh sense of liberty through Christ. Climb to the top of your position and assert your dominance. Put your hands on those people in your immediate vicinity who are able and willing to concur with you, because I am saying that in the agreement of just a few mountains, countries will quiver and mountains will be moved. I have not called you to a faith that is weak and wailing, one that cowers in the shadows in the hope that things will better in the future. You are being urged to take courage by me. I have commanded you to perform extraordinary deeds, and in the deeds of faith that you perform, I shall be known to you to a greater extent than you have ever known me before. According to what the Father has revealed to us today, I am the God who does not change and who does not curse. I will pursue after the full fulfillment of my intentions in your life with a strong and unwavering determination. The likelihood of you failing is not higher than the likelihood that I will be able to bring you success. I have a motive and a strategy in mind. As I have spoken in my word, there is a route of holiness that the guy who is traveling along it will not make a mistake on, even if he is very foolish. Be willing to be my fool, and don't worry about others who tear you down and think less of you than I do. Just be willing to see things from my perspective. In any case, who are they? Untrue statements made by untrue authority have no bearing on the decisions that are made in the courts of heaven. Take your gaze away from the people and circumstances that are distracting you and instead focus on the throne. You will see yourself because you are in me and I am in you. If you look to the throne, you will see me, yes, and you will see that you are seated in heavenly seats I and me. You will see yourself. The kingdom that man puts off till one day, someday, is already present in you, and it is establishing you, strengthening you, and working in you until the model of heaven is brought down to earth. This is the precise manifestation of what your existence looks like. The untimely demise of Jonathan is the topic of today's 2 Samuel chapter 1 reading. The news that Saul and Jonathan, Saul's son, had passed away is brought to David's attention in this chapter. As a matter of irony, the messenger who conveys this information to David is an Amalekite, who is the nation that Saul was given the directive to completely eradicate at the beginning of his reign. Saul has been punished to the fullest extent possible for rejecting the instruction that God sent through the prophet Samuel. Another thing that we discover is that Jonathan passes away, despite the fact that he had anticipated serving alongside David after the fall of Saul's kingdom. This serves as a lesson for us as we come to the realization that, despite all of Jonathan's love for David, familial duties finally ensnare him and result in the unwarranted loss of his life. The book of 2 Samuel was originally a part of the larger book of 1 Samuel, which was split into two parts due to the bulk of the book. A number of people believe that the prophets Nathan or Gad were the authors of the book, or that an unknown author composed the book based on their notes. However, the author remains unknown. It is 970 years before the birth of Jesus that the events that are described in 2 Samuel take place. According to the opinions of a few academics, the books of Samuel 1 and 2 were not written until 200 years later. A recount of the events that occurred during David's 40-year reign is what the book of 2 Samuel is all about. Given the honesty of the story, which reveals not only the many things David did well but also major offenses, it is highly probable that the book was either written much later or was written by a prophet. This is because the book reveals both the positive and negative aspects of David's behavior. 2 Saw 1:1-27 KJV, 1 Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. 2 It came even to pass on the third day, that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent, and earth upon his head, and, so, it was, when he came to David, that he fell to the earth, and did obeisance. David then addressed him and asked, From what source do you originate? He then addressed him with the words, I have escaped from the camp of Israel. For David then addressed him and asked, How did things turn out? I beseech you, please tell me. Furthermore, he responded by saying that the people have fled from the conflict, and a significant number of the people have also fallen and died. In addition, Saul and Jonathan, Saul's son, have also perished. 5 And David asked the young man who had presented him with the information, How do you know that Saul and Jonathan, his son, have both passed away? 6 And the young man who had told him said, As I happened to be on Mount Gilboa by chance, I saw Saul leaning upon his spear, and sure enough, the chariots and horsemen were following closely behind him. 7 When he turned his head to look behind him, he noticed me and he yelled out to me. And I responded by saying, Here I am. And he asked me, Who are you, in the 8th verse. Then I responded to him by saying that I am an Amalekite. 9 He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. 10 So I stood upon him, and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen, and I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my lord. David is still at Ziklag when he acquires the information that Saul has passed away. Despite the fact that the city of Ziklag was completely destroyed by fire, it appears that it is still habitable. David and his band had been there for 2 days when they received this information. It is the aftermath of the battle that is described by the runner that arrives from the battle. In 1 Samuel 31, we were under the impression that Saul had succeeded in taking his own life. However, when this individual meets Saul, his life is still in him, and he begs to die. The fact that the runner who discovers Saul is an Amalekite is a bit of a paradox in this situation. During the early stages of Saul's rule, Samuel gives Saul the mandate, through the word of the Lord, to completely eradicate all Amalekite people and leave none of them alive. Saul disobeys, and now, at the end of his days, he is forced to pay the ultimate penalty, which is to request an Amalekite to stand upon his body and take his own life. 11 Then David grabbed hold on his clothing, and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him, 12 And they mourned, and wept, and fasted until even for Saul, and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, for they were fallen by the sword. 13 And David asked the young man who had communicated with him, "From where are you?" Additionally, he responded by saying, "I am the son of a stranger, an Amalekite." 14 And David addressed him, "How was it that you did not have the courage to extend your hand to destroy the anointed of the Lord?" In the 15th verse, David called out to one of the young men and instructed him to approach him and attack him. He struck him so hard that he passed away. 16 And David addressed him, saying, "May the blood of your head be upon your head, for your mouth has testified against you, saying, I have slain the anointed of the Lord." And David wept with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan, his son. 18 Also he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. Jonathan was their son. Another indication that David is a man after God's own heart is the way he responded to the news that Saul had passed away. He is his adversary, Saul. Saul was David's stalker throughout his entire life, and he caused him a great deal of suffering. David, however, is overcome with grief upon Saul's passing, and he tears his garments to shreds. This led to all of the men who were with him doing the same thing. These warriors recognized that David was a man of a distinct character who did not take joy in the death of God's anointed monarch. If David had been another man, perhaps they would have cheered and yelled in jubilation. However, they understood that David was not a man who would have done such a thing. Where did David get such a profound reverence for the anointing that God put on him? When Samuel anointed him, it was without a doubt the moment when the Spirit of the Lord left Saul and alighted upon David. The scriptures declare that this divine presence occurred at that very instant. As a result of David's awareness of what was on him and the fact that Saul had also been possessed by the same spirit, the two men formed a unique fraternity of two that no one else could truly relate to or comprehend. Because he was aware of the transformation that the anointing had brought about in his own life and character, he was able to comprehend and empathize with the anguish that King Saul had experienced as a result of the lack of that withdrew anointing. Saul was the only person in Israel who understood David, and David was the only one who understood Saul. The grief of David over Saul is comparable to the mourning of Jesus over John the Baptist, who was the only individual who ever completely realized who Jesus was. Saul understood who David was and what the future held for him, just as David understood who Saul was from the beginning. In spite of the fact that the Amalekite had intended to obtain a reward from David, David gave the order to one of the young men to fall upon him and kill him for having the audacity to touch the king who had been anointed by God. The next stanza contains a reference to archery, which is an interesting occurrence. This is a reference to a book written by Jasher that has since been lost. In the book, David is said to have instructed his troops to become trained in archery because the Philistines were able to kill Saul through the use of archery. Saul was a formidable warrior, and David, who was always the leader and commander, does not want to lose any possible advantage. In effect, David is saying, since archers were able to kill such a powerful man, let us also learn how to wield the bow in battle. Now, David begins writing a dirge in honor of Saul and Jonathan, which is the first psalm that we are familiar with out of the many that he will write during his lifetime. 19 The splendor of Israel has been vanquished upon the peaks of your majesty. How have the powerful fallen? 20 Do not tell it in Gath, and do not broadcast it in the streets of Askelon, for fear that the daughters of the Philistines will exult, and for fear that the daughters of the individuals who have not been circumcised will triumph. 21 Ye mountains of Gilboa, let there be, neither let there be, rain, upon you, nor fields of offerings, for there the shield of the great is vilely cast away, the shield of Saul, as though he had not been anointed with oil. 22 The bow of Jonathan has not turned back, and the sword of Saul has not returned empty, because it was made from the blood of those who were killed and the fat of those who were powerful. They were swifter than eagles and stronger than lions, and in their death, they were not divided. 23 Saul and Jonathan were attractive and pleasant in their lives, and in their death, they were not divided. 24 O daughters of Israel, cry for Saul, who adorned your garments with gold ornaments and who dressed you in crimson. He also adorned you with other delights. 25 How is it that the powerful have been defeated in the middle of the conflict? As for you, Jonathan, you were killed in the highest areas of your body. 26 I am troubled for you, my brother Jonathan, you have been extremely kind to me, your love for me was tremendous, surpassing the love that women have for one another. 27 How were the powerful defeated, and how did the weapons of battle come to an end? The death of Jonathan is a special source of sorrow for David. The two of them shared a connection that led to Jonathan's miraculous deliverance from Saul on multiple occasions, but finally culminated in Jonathan's unfortunate demise. According to 1 Samuel, Jonathan had a deep affection for David. 23:17 anticipated that he would live through the destruction of his father's kingdom and serve with David. On the other hand, Jonathan was unable to break with the house that his father Saul made. Remember that Jesus was quite familiar with these words, and that he would have interpreted the terrible end of Jonathan as a reference to the fact that Jonathan had anticipated taking part in David's kingdom, but he lost his life due to a mistaken loyalty. This is something that we must keep in mind. That is why the words of Jesus that are found in the Gospel of Matthew. The Bible says in Matthew 10 verse 34, "Do not believe that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have come not to bring peace but a sword. I am here to bring about a conflict between a man and his father, between a daughter and her mother, and between a daughter-in-law and her mother-in-law." 35 Here I am to bring about this conflict. 36 And the enemies of a man will be those who are members of his own home. Those who love their father or mother more than they love me are not worthy of me. Those who love their son or daughter more than they love me are also not worthy of me. 38 And those who do not take up their cross and follow after me are not worthy of me. There are moments when we will be put to the test of our loyalty between natural kinship and the kingdom of God. Although we would never wish to be separated from our loved ones, there will be instances when we would be forced to choose between the two. In spite of the fact that we have heard the assertion that the church is built atop the family a great number of times, this is not the case. As a result of the fact that the church is founded on Jesus Christ, there will frequently be disagreements between members of the same family. This is because those who are not following Christ with all their heart will harbor resentment and resistance toward those who are. When referring to this predicament, Jesus used the phrase, "taking up the cross," to characterize it. This is a very restrictive interpretation that we need to pay attention to, because many Christians who do not believe in God will use that metaphor to argue that all the sickness, poverty, and misery that Christians experience is what it means to take up the cross. However, this verse makes it very clear that this is not the intention that Jesus had in mind when he declared his intention. In this context, Jesus is alluding to the act of taking up the cross and suffering separation from loved ones, which Jonathan was unable to accomplish. This is a really serious concept, and we ought to prepare ourselves for it by keeping in mind that at some point in our Christian walk, we are going to be led by God into paths of life that will end in shattered family connections. This is something that we ought to be prepared for. Whenever anything like this occurs, let us be resolute in our determination to continue living in love and to have faith that God will make everything work out in His appointed time. This day, the Father tells you that you are aware that you possess the faith to move mountains. In your own mind, you are aware that you possess the faith to bring the dead back to life and to cleanse the leper. You have the faith to fulfill the requirements of those who are in your immediate vicinity and to bring about significant miracles and proofs of my power. So, what exactly is the issue here? It is a relatively straightforward process. Faith is a product of love. In the words of the Father, work on the love thing. Dismantle the claims of self-righteousness and pride that an individual has. Dismiss the judgmental attitudes and religious beliefs that impose on you looking at other people from a perspective that is in direct opposition to the reason I sent my only son to die. View this right now. What I saw in other people, even those who are arrogant and cruel, is the same thing that I saw in them when I delivered the only begotten. I am not asking you to give a lot, says the Father. I am asking you to offer only everything that you are and everything that you will ever be, in the cause of love that is radical, unconditional, and preferential toward other people. When you do this, you will discover that the faith that helps you move mountains, which may at times be dormant within you, will suddenly come to a roaring life. I am going to move in your life, and I am going to move through your life. Word is who I am, and I am love. I am the Word, and the Word is who I am. In light of this, I shall demonstrate my love by the following signs. If you allow love to find its ideal expression within you right now, you will undoubtedly get a taste of the power that will be available to you in the future. I am going to reveal to you the next great move of my Spirit, says the Father. I will reveal it to you. In the past, I was the one who sent out the Pentecostal move. Through the sending of this motion, I brought Christianity back to the world in the first century. I let go of the outpouring of the charismatic outpouring, and as a result, my church was transformed in an irrevocable way. It was I who introduced the movement of the word of faith and who refreshed the faith of my people. It was via the prophetic movement that I made it possible for my people to recognize my voice. It is my intention that the next outpouring of my Spirit will be an outpouring of my heart and my love for those who have lost their way and for all those who call my name. In the beginning, the world will make fun of me because I will pour out my love. They will make fun of you, but through the love that you have for one another, they will have the opportunity to learn that I am and that you are my disciples. They are going to see how profound and enduring the love that you have for one another is. After witnessing this love, they will ask themselves, is it possible for me to have some of that? Lead them to me. They will ask, where can I go and how can I get that kind of love in my life? And I will answer their questions. The ingathering will take place by means of the discharge of my love on a scale that has never been seen before in the modern era. Beloved, love is who I am for you. Love, allow yourself to be who you are today. Today, the Father encourages us to make the love thing our guiding principle in all of our interactions. At this very moment, there are people in your immediate vicinity who are full of judgments, opinions, negativity, irritation, and rage. A portion of that will be directed toward you. It is inevitable that you will be subjected to cruelty, neglect, and comments that are cruel. You should just be aware that this will take place, and you should get ready to engulf these individuals in the love that is currently pouring to you and through you. You should let love be your response. When you are unpleasantly surprised by a harsh phrase or remarks, it is important to put on a show of affection. I am love, and if you want to bring me into a situation, love is the way to get me there. Love is the vehicle that makes it happen. Never will love fail you, beloved. Due to the fact that love is unfailing, why would you ever want to abandon it? Stepping away from love is the same as taking a step toward failure, disappointment, and grief. Any step you take toward love is a step toward me. When you are in love, you are included in me. Therefore, live your life out of love, and you will find that you are living out of me. Beloved is what I am, and I am that which I am. And who am I? I know you are capable of getting this one. Talk to me. Yes. Come on to me. Love is what I am. As you go about your day, let love not only be what you do, but also who you are. You are. This day, the Father instructs you to live not from your natural self, but rather from your spirit. If you conduct your life according to your spirit, you will become one with me in a way that is experienced. Your spirit is the place where I chose to create my new home. I guide your thoughts, I tend to your feelings, and I bless your will so that it can move in accordance with my plans. I do this from your spirit. It is important that you communicate from your spirit man rather than your natural person in all of your interactions with other people. Therefore, by doing so, I shall become known to them in a clear and open manner through your witness. As the Father instructs, be a life changer. Allow the way you perceive and interact with other people to be a moment in their lives that has never been seen before. Use straightforward language. Unreserved love, devoid of any pretense or reserve. Take comfort in the knowledge that I will protect and care for you even when you are interacting with others who are unfamiliar with me. In the presence of those who are living in confusion and misdirection, you will be my witness. They have prayed for a stone that will aid them. I conveyed them to you. Therefore, while you go about your day, do so as someone who is rooted in spirit and who is living their life from the perspective of a scarification. Because I am sitting at the right hand of the Father, you are also seated at the right hand of the Father as you are seated there. As much as you are in me, I am also in you. I am holding you at my right hand. You are my choice. Me is the source of your safety. You owe it to yourself to love. When you portray and reflect who I am to other people and show them my heart, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You really have nothing to lose. The task for today is for you to complete it. Today, the Father said, I am the one who will bear your burden. What I have paid for, the Father says, come and give it to me. This burden is mine to bear. I am the owner of those depths. I paid for the opportunity of embracing you with my love and bringing you into my presence on this earth. Please come to me. Make yourself available to receive that which I gladly gave up on the cross in order to love you, to have you, and to walk in connection with you. Open yourself up and receive it. We are no longer excluded. No more being turned down. There is a measuring of my acceptance and willingness to bring you to myself in the process of redemption, deliverance, and healing, and that measurement is the cross, namely the cross of Calvary. The Father says, I am not ashamed of myself. It does not make me feel embarrassed to refer to you as my son or my daughter. It is not something that I am ashamed of, and I do not place any importance or value on you groveling in shame before me. I say that you are entitled one, and I say that you are accepted. The love that I have for you makes you holy and blameless before me. I came here because I am in love. What keeps me here is love. Rejoice, my lover, since love is the reason I will never leave you. I say to you, rejoice and rest, and realize that you might possibly realize the depths of my love and my passion for you, O child of mine. Receive what I say, and be loved, since that is the task you have to complete today in order to be the one who is loved. Today, the Father reveals that the waiting has been going on for a very long time, but that it is finally finished. O Lord, you have cried out again and over again, how long must it be? I want to tell you that patience has brought about the perfect results in your life, and that you are about to enter a new period of acceleration that is at the speed of God. During this moment, time seems to be converging on itself, and events that you had anticipated would take weeks, months, or even years to complete will take place as if they were happening in a single day. There are even circumstances and situations that you have assumed to be set in stone that are going to miraculously transform, shift, and bring about a transformation in your life. Others will betray and ask, how is it possible that such things exist? However, be aware of this, declares the Lord. I am the God of time and eternity, and there is nothing that I cannot accomplish. If I were to make the sundial turn backwards and if I were to make the sun stand still, would you not believe that I am capable of entering into your history in order to reshape, shift, and renew even the things that you believed would keep you bound for the rest of your life? However, those who assert that God will not and God can't should be disregarded because, darling, I am God. And it brings me great joy to disprove those who believe they have me completely figured out. Not only am I free to do anything I want whenever I want, but I also do not need to consult with anyone else. You need only have faith in me, accept what I have done, and express gratitude to me for what I have done, what I am doing, and what I am about to do. I am bringing you into my time and my timing, and the development of change that you have been accustomed to will no longer apply to your life because I have intervened to do what man is unable to achieve. Yes, my dear, I tell you that your joy will be immense because I am bringing you into my time and for my timing. During this time of year, direct your affections toward things that are higher than you rather than things that are lower. It is just that when change occurs, it may appear to be a loss. Nonetheless, the end result is promotion, rebirth, and a new blessing. This is your portion when you lean into my breeze and allow me to take you on high to a new level of knowledge in my plans. This is your share. The Father instructs us to gaze up today. You will get the inspiration and the focus you need today by looking aloft. When I was walking the world in a mortal coil, it was essential for me to glance up just as much as I looked down. As I raised my head, I was able to see my Father. If you are not looking up into the heavens, then you are not seeing the Father. As I looked up, I saw the grandeur that I had found myself in, where I was clothed in authority and grace to carry out my mission. The Father replies that at this very now, that very same energy is shining brightly upon you in huge quantities. The Father insists that you look up. When you look up, you will observe the process of mantling that is taking place upon you from above. It is not possible to attribute any genuine force to the lateral influences of darkness, scarcity, and bewilderment. I am dressing you from on high, and as you wear that garment, you will be invisible to the hands and eyes of those who wish to sabotage your destiny. Says the Father, your time has come before you. Now is the time for you to act. I am a God who is here in the here and now, and I am establishing a provision for you to manifest who I am on the contrary, within you. As of today, the Father has communicated to me that I am your wisdom for every circumstance. I am the incarnation of love, but I am also the manifestation of your wisdom. As a result of the fact that love is who I am, love is what I do. Because I believe that love is what I do, I would like for you to love because you are obligated to respond to every circumstance in the same manner that I would if I were in your condition. In addition, the Father states that I am in the same position as you. I believe in you, and as a result, I am here to support you through every difficulty. Exactly what should you do? Follow the path that love would take, and you will be doing the God thing in the process. According to the Father, the God thing is the love thing, Thus, you should perform the love thing today. Allow my love to bestow wisdom onto you. What might love be capable of? How would the love that sent its one and only Son respond to the circumstances you find yourself in? I am aware that it does not appear to be practical, but remember that this is your natural thinking operating from a natural point of view. My love is powerful, and it is self-assured in its feelings. The pursuit of my love does not involve giving in to the strident demands of people who are under the control of the adversary. It was not on the terms of man that I sent Jesus to die, rather, it was on my terms. Because of this, they laid him on the cross. Therefore, you should question yourself, what would love's reaction be if it were in your case? Love is not a strain on the heart. Love has nothing to gain or prove. Love is not something that can be controlled or coerced into betraying its own nature. Love loves on its own terms on account of the fact that I am love, which means that love is always in command. When you are in a position of authority, you should not act foolishly or yell at the adversary. The Father has declared that the time has come to stop yelling at the adversary. Just come in armed with the love that I send. Love doesn't take charge. Love is I in command because love is who I am and I am Lord even when I am love because being love to the world does not invalidate being Lord. So go out and be love to people around you, and in so doing you will be the one in charge in the room. The Father says today, as you hallow my name, I will create ambushments against the adversary of your soul and demolish the work of his hands. I said in the last days I would pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and you are one eligible for that which I am pouring out even this day. You will prophesy, declares the Father, and the words that flow out of your mouth will not fall to the ground. You will speak in other tongues, says the Father, and the enemy will be confounded, confused, turned back, and destroyed. I call you the instrument of my hand. I call you the vessel that I will pour out through this day. Others have disqualified you because they judged you according to standards that I did not author or originate. Your qualification is in the shed blood of Calvary, not in what you know, or what you have accomplished. Your credibility is found in my favor and not in the approval of man. As you seek my mind and my purpose and open yourself to the anointing I am availing to you today, doors will open, keys will be distributed, and breakthrough will happen. So step out in your day today knowing that I am with you. I will never leave you or forsake you. Listen to the voice of my voice, even the Christ in you. I did not bleed and die to place you in the containment of man. Who I am will not be contained, therefore you will not be contained. Will you make mistakes? Big ones, says the Father, but be of good cheer, I will cause even your mistakes to prosper. Accuracy and protocol will be replaced in your thinking with abiding in the vine. Allow me to vine myself in you and branch myself in you. As I vine and branch myself in you, says the Father, you will bring forth fruit. You will bring forth fruit, and I will teach, train and instruct you in such a way that your fruit will remain to your benefit and to the benefit of many who are crying out to me in this hour.